The Tea Party movement has been growing in size and intensity as we get closer and closer to the midterm elections in November. But our next guest says he doesn't really think the movement has been as successful as it's been characterized.
We're joined by Pennsylvania Governor Ed Rendell. Good morning to you, Governor.
Good morning, Gretchen. And let me start out by saying, number one, the Tea Partiers have had an absolute right to demonstrate, and anything they want to say, this is a free country, and we should all support their right to do that. But number two, I think they've been very successful because I think the mainstream media, the media all over the country, has given them too much credit. I think they're really sort of following the anger rather than creating the movement. Look, when they had the rally for healthcare against the healthcare bill in Washington, they drew 1,000 people. On tax day, they drew 1,500 people. If I call a rally for stronger laws for puppies, I could get 100,000 people to Washington just like that.
I heard that line yesterday, Governor. It's a good one. It's a good one.
And it's the truth. It's the truth. You know that.
But wait a minute. The idea that the mainstream media is actually giving too much credit to the Tea Party, that's a headline. And number two, if you're saying that the infrastructure doesn't really exist, does that really matter? Because isn't it more about the movement of the whole thing? I'm thinking what happened in New Jersey. I'm thinking what happened in Virginia. I'm thinking what happened in Massachusetts.
Right. The anger is palpable and it is real. And is there a movement? Does that anger get acted upon by people? Sure it does. Anytime you've got people who've lost their jobs, lost their 401k, lost their houses, people are going to be angry. But I don't think it's all directed at government spending or wasteful government. I think that's part of it, but I think there's a lot of anger just because we have a bad economy. If the economy continues to improve like it's clearly doing, I don't know if you guys saw the new home starts, 27% up, I think you'll see a lot of that anger dissipate, even possibly before the November election.
Sure. Well, you've got to, well, let's go back to when George Bush was president. There was a lot of anger about the war, and now we've got a new commander-in-chief, and, you know, the anger about that is going down. Clearly, it's all cyclical.
Well, sure, but when we had the demonstrations against the war, hundreds of thousands of people made it to Washington. 250,000 people, not 1,000 people. There's a huge difference, guys.
But there are, you know, there are groups of 1,000 here, 1,000 there. You know, it was just a couple of weeks ago, Governor, that I think it was Barbara Boxer out in California said, said to the people who are her supporters, "Come on, you people, we've got to be more excited like the Tea Party people."
Well, there's no question. Look, the Tea Party movement deserves some real credit because without much of an infrastructure, without much of a following, and 1,000 people, guys, is no following, they have captured the imagination of the media because of their passion.
But Governor,
because of their passion and because of their anger. And I agree with Barbara Boxer. The Democrats, we've been sitting on the sidelines. I use the line, we've been cowering behind the shower curtains. And we've let the nation hear only one voice, the voice of the Tea Party.
Even though you're a former DNC chair, you always were the person that could almost see the middle in so many issues. This is what surprises me. You're putting too much credit to the actual physical makeup. If they don't show up, infrastructure. If they don't show up in a park or in D.C., you don't think they're big, but yet when they support Marco Rubio and he catapults ahead of Chris, when it happens in all those places that Gretchen brought up, and what's happening with Rand Paul.
The key, guys, is the semantics. The semantics. When you say they, I don't think it's people who consider themselves Tea Partiers who are supporting all of Marco Rubio's supporters. I think there are a lot of conservatives who aren't part of the Tea Party movement who support Marco Rubio.
What about the 56% of the people who are against health care? A lot of people would say that they agreed with the Tea Party movement on that, and that was more than half of the country. But here's my question for you, Governor.
Again, it's agreed with the movement or be a part of the movement. I think, yes, you're right.
Well, the only thing that matters is what the end result is. And if that means that people come out to the ballot box and they vote in one particular way or another, then it was effective. But here's my question to you.
I agree, but I would say you guys deserve more credit for marshaling that anger than the Tea Partiers do. I'm being serious, and I think it's your right to do so.
Well, we're just showing both sides of the story.
The anger, well, you do. You always let me come on. There's absolutely no question about that. But what I'm saying is the anger is real. It's palpable. You can sense it out there. And it's a manifestation of a tough, bad economy, which I don't think President Bush caused and I don't think President Obama caused.
And maybe the policies that are also being enacted, that could have something to do with it as well. I can't ask you the question about how the Democrats are going to come together on this because we're out of time, so that will be for next time, Governor.
Next time. All right, guys. Thanks.